Okay. Let's get into it. Okay. Where are we? What's today? 26th, so we're going to be on the right side. Let's get some dice. Can't start without dice. And these dice. Percentile dice. All right. Let's get something to kick us off with on the back cover. Back inside cover. Hey, I was just asking for a low number the other day. 25. 25 gives us meticulous events. Ooh, I like that. Meticulous events. Meticulous events makes me think of what does that make me think of? It makes me think of a schemer. Makes me think of, best laid plans. Kind of creating a sequence of events. Grand plan. So it could be maybe a master thief. Could be a heist. I haven't done a heist in a while. Hey, Connor. Our prompt is, what did I say? 25. Meticulous events. Meticulous events. So that's probably why my mind goes to something like a heist. Thinking about making a plan. Coordinated crime. Hey, Data. Damsel tied up on a railroad. Sure. Thief or a wizard. Thinking. A plan. Generations in the making. Well, no, that would be kind of neat. You know, I've never tried that. And I kind of really like this as a core concept, as a complex quest idea. What if, and I don't know if this will land us here, but what if rather than the party planning out a heist, what if the party was sort of taking over a heist? What if you could uncover the heist materials? Somebody else was planning this and they were all captured, but it just so happens we have all their stuff. And as a result, it almost is like a puzzle of putting it together before executing it. I don't know if that helps us here, but I love that idea. Maybe it does help us here. I think it does. I think it can help us in for sure. Okay. Yep. I got it. Meticulous plans or meticulous events. Here we go. All right. First off, we have to set the stakes. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal. ... What is worth planning to steal? What is the object or objects or creative? The largest gem. It's as big as your head. They were set to steal every gem in the exhibit. The throne itself, like not the role of the king, but the throne. Just they have a thing. They just want a seat. They just want a seat. I feel like it'd be an interesting heist. It's like we're not going to defeat the dragon to get the dragon sword. We're actually going to heist it. We're all set to steal the dragon sword. This will be fun to steal, like a ship, an airship. That'd be tough. That'd be a tricky heist to pull off. All right, so based on the prompt of meticulous events, we've landed on the crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal, ... So number 1 here, every gem in the exhibit. Number 2, the dragon's hoard. I definitely like something biological. You say the eggs. Like something living makes sense. Maybe it's somebody's pet, or like the young monster, the young beast. They're all set to steal the owlbear's cubs. It's like, why would that be a goal? Let's do some sort of a staff. Thinking of like the throne, thinking of the royal, like the maybe not the mage exactly, maybe like the official, maybe just the mage's staff. Let's just do the mage's staff. I like that. I like stealing information too. So maybe something about archives or history or some sort of information. Maybe it's not so much about maps, but that vibe of like a hidden history or something like that. All right, let's do the ancient books. What else can you steal? You can steal art. You can steal... What do we have? We have the Dragon's Hoard, Gem in the Exhibit, the Mage's Staff. How about the Royal Portraits? I actually really like that idea. Okay, back to the biological thing. For a biological thing, maybe not eggs. What about seeds? Maybe it's something about what would be like some sort of tree, or like Jugador, a golden silkworm, kind of like that. Good one. You know, something that locates a heist in like a forest, right? Or someplace natural. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal every gem in the exhibit, the Dragon's Hoard, the Mage's Staff, the ancient books, the royal portraits, the silk of the goldworm. That's how I wrote it down, golden silkworm. But I think the silk in particular gives us a few more options where it could be. Maybe they steal a living person. Ooh, how about like a prized creature of some sort, like, or maybe it's the somebody important's horse. Could be like the prince's steed. Let's do that. It probably would be good to have some sort of vehicle. Yeah, I mean, an airship's just too cool. So some sort of... But whose airship? What it could be like, maybe it's a... Could be a dwarven airship. Dwarves don't do airships, do they? Why not? They're good with tools. Let's do... I don't like dwarven though. I'd rather it be like some sort of trait rather than an identity. So it's like it's official, it's used for travel. It's almost like a politician's. Age of Sigmar, dwarves do. Well, I guess I'm just thinking like rather than I'm thinking of dwarf, what sort of context, rather maybe they're politicians or they're leaders. The general's airship. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Oh. Sad construct. I wonder why. See, you were poo-pooing the email idea. But I bet you got a couple emails in that time. No, I don't know. I don't know why they fail. Well, we'll catch up because we are on to the second table. And this is when we really need help anyway. Based on 25 here, timeless thoughts. Or no, timeless thoughts. 25 here, meticulous events. 20 even. 25, meticulous events that led us down the road of the crew is long gone, but we have their plans, which I love this idea. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal 1, every gem in the exhibit. 2, the dragon's hoard. 3, the mage's staff. 4, the ancient books. 5, the royal portraits. 6, the silk of the gold worm. 7, the prince's steed. 8, the general's airship. So the crew is long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal whatever it is. Here's table 2. They thought of everything. Now, all we need is ... So, the plan is all set. We understand what to do, all of this. But the plan, it calls for something we don't have. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's an object. Maybe it's a disguise. Like, all we need now is to disguise ourselves as court jesters. Now all we need is someone who can tunnel. Now all we need is an entire army. That it? I like so instead of thieves tools, I'm gonna do now all we need is a fast lockpick. Now all we need is an army. I do like that. Oh, that's it? That's all? That's all we need? I see that I've frozen. How annoying. Let me find the source of this problem. Okay. Here, you guys look at a map for a second. Here, let me give it a reset. I blame computers. Okay. Might be okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Where were we? You guys are having awesome ideas. Something to power the device. Maybe maybe a big distraction. How about a big enough distraction? They thought of everything. This plan is foolproof. It can't fail. All we need now is a fast lockpick, an army, big enough distraction, court jester costumes for all of us. It's like, okay, maybe we can modify this heist plan just a little bit. No. They thought of everything. We have to do it. We can't change a thing. Otherwise, it'll fail. Need explosives. Something to create enough concussive force. All we need to do is blow a hole in the building. I'm trying to think. The explosives could be used to tunnel. They could be used to enter a building from a specific point. Now all we need is... Ooh, the key word, the passphrase, the The entry code. What if all we need is a getaway? A fast, like an efficient. Would a getaway be? You know, a way out. Now all we need is a way to disappear. What else does a heist need? Ooh, you need somebody, someone on the inside, or maybe to free the inside man. I was just thinking of like you need some kind of charming, front man type of thing, but maybe it's all of the above. I do like the idea. I do like in general. All we need is someone on the inside. Good stuff. All right, what are we on? Oh, we're on a Wednesday. Very cool. A nearly perfect plan. Let's do a couple rolls on this one. I like it. A 1 and a 7. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal every gem in the exhibit. They thought of everything. Now all we need is a way to disappear. So this could be taken two ways, right? This could be their plan. One of their guys had a way of casting invisibility on them. That's how they were going to walk into this place and walk out unscathed. Or it could be, as soon as we steal these things, everybody's going to be looking for us. So how fast can we get out of the city? Either way works. That's like a legit what do you call it? Like Ocean's 11 style conundrum. Like we need a wizard on the take, or we need a ship waiting for us at the docks. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the dragon's hoard right from under its nose. They thought of everything. Now all we need is an army. It's not a perfect plan. It's not great. It does involve... Now listen. According to this plan, and we've got the documents to help, all we have to do is to trick the dwarves to attack from the front, and then we sneak out the back. Who cares who wins? Dragons, dwarves, they've hated each other for a long time. But if we can convince the dwarves that it's about to attack, that's the distraction we need. The army attacks. We can even pretend to help, but we're gonna take the back way, and we'll be out before they even know what's up. Make an enemy of the dragons, the dragon, and the dwarves at the same time. It's a genius plan. What could go wrong? Six and a 3. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the silk of the gold worm from the forest, from the protected, from right under the guise of the druids. And they thought of everything. Now all we need is a big enough distraction. So what can we do to pull the druids away from this part of the forest to lighten the numbers, and then we can follow this plan to the T? I mean, probably going to set fire to something, I would imagine, or anger the giants or something. Any of that would work. 3 and a 1. Crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the mage's staff, and they thought of everything. All we need is a fast lockpick. Fast lockpick. Well, why do we need a fast lockpick? Well, the mages, when we can't take the staff off the mage, not personally, obviously, unless you guys want to go fight a wizard. And anytime it's on lockup, this wizard's a bit paranoid. But he's got a lot of good stuff up there, so it's worth it. The thing is, the configuration in the tower and in the room and the lock, it changes every 60 seconds. So if we don't find somebody that can get in and out within that span of time, we actually don't know where we're going to end up. The whole heist has to take place in under a minute. Otherwise, the doors are going to go someplace else, and we may be trapped forever. It's like, I don't even know who this wizard is, and I want to steal from him. What's up, User FM? Fast may imply automatic. True. Automatic would be really helpful. Let's do one more. 6 and... I have to reroll both of these. Oh, 7 and 7. I think that's safe. Did I have a 7 yet? Reroll the second 7. Reroll the 1. Reroll the 3. 6, maybe? Yeah. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the prince's steed. It's the fastest one. We can use it ourselves, but it'll fetch. We've got a buyer lined up already, and they thought of everything. All we need now is the passphrase. Yeah, the prince spends a lot of his time at this kind of strange club. We don't know a lot about it, but there is a phrase to get in. So we follow him in, find out, where they keep the horses. Bada bing, bada boom. Heist complete. All right. Now we'll do a bit of a time jump here. Switch sides. Go back and do the 15th. This is actually only one of a couple of days that I've got to catch up on, so we made quick work of it. But start things off with a new prompt, something fresh to give us a direction to think in. How about a 56? Let's see how that sounds. Nope, we've done that fairly recently. It was aghast by the sight. But a 54. 54, we almost certainly haven't. Shallow water. Shallow water. Shallow water. Like springing a leak. Shallow water like the cellars filling up. The basement. Swamps. Crocodiles. Could get it. I could do something about a swamp, maybe. Lots of things can be hidden in the swamp. River, beach, spring, marsh. Oh, I like healing springs too. I always liked the vibe from Zelda games that if you find a fountain, if you find a spring, it's going to be attached to something, you know, usually good and magical. Like you found, it's like it's kind of playing off that sort of vibe of like an oasis. Whereas like swamp is basically the inverse of that, right? Swamp is like a dark oasis. Natural fauna protecting. So I like this idea of protection. Protection, spring, and entrance is what I'm thinking. Yeah, so rather than going the swamp direction, I think taking the Zelda inspiration, we're gonna go. Yeah. Okay. All right. First one here. If we can find one of these natural springs, that's how we enter ... Spring as a doorway. Spring as an entryway of some sort into another place, into some place worth trying to find. It could be the Nine Hells. Okay, all right, worth trying to find. Certainly, could also be some sort of a dungeon, something hidden behind natural spring. You know, our own water temple. Hey Drake, welcome to the stream. The Nine Hells, it could certainly be there. Yeah. Okay. I like the plane of water works. The Norns faints home. Something saint is placed in a place of corruption. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna say, how about the home of the seer? Or the home of the oracle? Some sort of playing off the temple idea. Ooh, Poseidon's temple. To more abstracted, to abstract it a bit more, it could be the like the ocean king's temple, let's say. Some sort of a watery grave. Could be some sort of a tomb. What if it's some sort of a druidic prison? Like, where do you imprison those who are too dangerous to like roam about in the forest? That would definitely qualify, FM. We have not. Drake, I like the laboratory. I think like an elemental laboratory would be neat. Let's see. If we find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter Hell, the Plane of Water, the home of the Oracle, the Ocean King's Temple, the Druid's Prison, the Elemental Laboratory. Oh, we could enter a Bond movie. It's the Volcano Lair under the water. I'm very proud of us. I'm very proud of us that we haven't even mentioned me or you guys. Nobody said anything about the Fae yet, which I think is impressive. Now I'm motivated to make this whole list not even touch on the Fae, because it's too easy. It's too easy in the woods. It's too easy in the natural springs or wherever we find ourselves. Shit, you did, Jeff. I'm sorry. I'm still proud of you. Dang it. Thought I found something there. It's true. However, I like when things have multi-layered purposes. So, what if what was sort of a healing spring or realm has been corrupted? So maybe it's a corrupted, like a cursed something or other. See ya, Construct. Good luck. Played with the Mirage Reflection theme. Gotcha. Shadowfell. Good one, Connor. Cursed, or I'm gonna say corrupted, but grove is the right word. Spring that heals all wounds and regenerates but compels to drown someone. Dang. The healing through death, I guess. If we can find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter. What if there's something, and maybe we're kind of getting at this with like a natural, like a volcano or something like that. What if it's just strictly speaking, like that's the doorway to some sort of hidden guild? Like that's the Assassin's Guild. It's almost like the behind the waterfall type of thing. Like that's just the way in to the bandits camp. That's about as like low level as you can get, right? If we can find one of these natural springs, that's how we enter, you know, the bandits' hideout. Let's do that. Bandits get a bad rap. We need to amp up there. Bring them up a level. Okay. All right. I do like that of him. Second table. So if we can find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter the plane of water, the druidic prison, the laboratory. But beware, the entrance is guarded by... ... What guards the entrance to this place? A sea elf. They're worse. They're worse than land elves by far. Water reflections. Ooh, in the spring itself. Mm-hmm. Let's say what the water reflects back. Old mossy statue of a warrior. Nature itself protects it. I do like a living warrior statue. I like that idea. Spring itself, an old mossy. I like that nature protects it. Holy water weirds, Medusa, the dark court. So for nature itself to protect it, beware the entrance is guarded by, like, it's kind of a weird way to phrase it, but it's guarded by the labyrinth that surrounds it, like the shifting forest itself. How about that? Or like it's guarded by way of the forest's shifting pathways, like the maze from Harry Potter. Yeah. Salt golems. Idea. A Medusa is nice and clean. The dark court. Living mounds. Oh, like the I think I know what kind of creature you're talking about. Maybe there's something else living in the waters themselves. We already have kind of Medusa. I was thinking of some sort of like serpent. Squids. Maybe some sort of amphibious devil. If we can find one of these natural springs, that's how we enter the plane of water, or the home of the oracle, the Ocean King's temple. But beware, the entrance is guarded by Beowulf. Something even more like a puzzle. I'm thinking of, like, rather than guarded by thinking creatures, what if it's just electrified? What if it's like eels? Like, yeah, the spring, that's the way in, but I mean, you tell me, how do you make it through? How do you pass through water that will kill you if you touch it? Yeah, electric eels. That's the type of thing that would be fun to throw at a low-level party that doesn't have a whole lot of options yet. And it's like, especially like a bandits camp or something like that, where it's like, that's how they get through. Do they have some trick? Let's investigate and find out. Thunder Salamander breeding grounds. Dang. That's a lot of scary ideas all put together. Drake, it guards its emotions. Hey, what's up, Crafted Puppets? It's good. Glad you could make it too. We've cooked something up based on the premise of, where was it? Wherever it was. Basically shallow water. I forget the number. So if we can find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter some important location. But beware, the entrance is guarded by sea elves, living warrior statue, the ever-shifting forest itself, a Medusa, electric eels. Could be beware, it's guarded by, maybe we could do some sort of puzzle, some sort of trick, a trap. Now I'm just saying words. An illusion, an ogre, a troll. That's good. I actually really like the yeah, let's do a troll. So using like the illusion and tricks and traps, maybe we need something fey, like maybe there's like a water spirit, like a water water fairy, or like a trickster of some sort. Yeah, I think I like that. th would have been a Saturday. Okay. Trickster reflections, yeah. Data, do we say rule out druid? No, we do have druidic influence in there. Okay, so for the watery doorway, let's roll a couple of these. Two d8s, nice and simple. Let's see what we get. A 1 and a 4. If we find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter hell. But beware, the entrance is guarded by the ever-shifting forest. Oh. So it's sort of almost like a parallel to how you could mistakenly like slip into the Feywild, which is like my favorite way that happens. You didn't intend to. It's like, oh no, you have to mean it to find it, but also it's almost like the forest is trying to prevent you from accessing the literal gates of hell. And 6 and 6. If we can find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter the elemental laboratory. But beware, the entrance is guarded by electric eels. That's nice and simple. So it makes sense how somebody working with the elements, an elemental mage or alchemist or something, they would probably be able to pass through. I mean, even just like a suit, people could go to work that way. Rubber suits just walk straight on through the spring, but anybody else wouldn't be able to. I kind of like that. This is a nice sort of, it's a clean set of ideas. A 2 and a 4. Or rather a 4 and a 2. If we find one of those natural springs, that's our way in to the Ocean King's temple. But beware, the entrance is guarded by whatever the water reflects back. So this kind of gives like this is almost like the shadow link in the water temple sort of vibe, where it's like, yeah, you can enter, but whatever you bring and however you show up, that's what's going to reflect back on you in some way, and that's what you have to fight, or that's what's going to try to defend the entry to the Ocean King's temple. It also fits because in Ocean King's temple, it's like, is it really actually located there? It feels more like you're teleporting. It's like a anywhere that the water naturally leaves the earth, that's a place you can get to the Ocean King's temple. If we can find one of these natural springs, that's how we enter the home of the Oracle. But beware, the entrance is guarded by a tricky water fairy. It's actually the seer, the Oracle's sibling, and very defensive, keeps watch for her. That's how the Oracle can actually see, is the relation to the Fae. But they say that if you can impress her sister, either by solving one of her puzzles or maybe by tricking her yourself, she'll let you have an audience with the Oracle. See, not everything's got to be violent. Fight with your mind. Do one more without repeat numbers. One more. 8 and 7. If we find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter the bandits' hideout. But beware, because the entrance is also guarded by a troll. Yeah, those bandits. Those bandits don't. Those bandits don't. Their creativity's not too high. They're sort of lazy. They won't even guard their own camp. They just chained up a poor troll outside. And they figure one way or the other, they'll hear if somebody tries to break in. Cool. Awesome. I like it. 2 good ones. Awesome. So if this is a stream you guys haven't been to before, we'll try to do this every day, usually in the morning. This one's a little bit late in the day. But something new that I've been doing, and I think I'm going to do for both of these, is I actually draw them up. So, oh yeah, And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, if you like these ideas, check out my zine. It's a little 2-book set of a bunch of these ideas, kind of all expanded and remixed into lots of interesting ways. There's a monster encounters, and the orange book on the back is mysterious encounters. So weird events meant to sort of get your players asking questions. So, Theodric, yeah, you have a good one too. Let me change gears here a little bit. Switch to my marker pad. Been practicing lately drawing gemstones. So what better way than now? What better time? Hey, Stretch. Sure. Service. Wow. Yeah, gems, diamonds. That's the idea. I am not super comfortable drawing them yet, but I've been working on it. Trying to find some simple ways to okay. Crafted in the campaign you're in, you feel like you're not really progressing the story. I've asked the DM what we should do, and she admits she hasn't tried to tell us any way I can communicate that I want more plot points. Yeah, it's an interesting question from the player's perspective, right? Oh, welcome back, Data. Ooh, what's your short about? So, I do think that it's worth sort of analyzing for yourself, Crafted, like, what kind of game is this at its heart? Because this isn't a slight on players, dungeon masters, or anything, but sometimes sometimes the game that we want to play is not in line with sort of what the game is, right? Sometimes I've likened this to like, hey, everybody gets together to go bowling and one player goes over to play darts. It's like, yeah, I think we might have different ideas about what this game is. That aside, right? There's always that kind of reflection about like, okay, is this the best group, you know, for me, vice versa, is because some games are chaotic. Some games are, you know, what's the word for it? Like they're chaos gremlins, right? Where the party is, you know, hard to keep in a particular direction. Everybody's there basically just to kind of have fun and you know, do silly things. And then there are certainly campaigns that are really overly earnest and serious and dramatic, and maybe neither of those is perfect, and you want to find something kind of in the middle. Even through best intentions, one way or the other, oftentimes games, it takes a while to kind of feel out what a game is, you know, what a dungeon master intends to make, what a player thinks they're doing at the table. Every group is going to be different. And so figuring that out, you know, one of the questions to ask is sort of like, hey, does the whole group want to move in a more plot specific direction, right? More plot points, more things to happen. I guess the other two kind of things I'd say about it, one, obviously, talking to the dungeon master is a great way to go, right? If you're saying, hey, I'm interested in sort of, I guess without knowing more details, it's like, I just want things to happen, things to move forward. You want the things that your player and the party is doing in the world to have consequence. You want there to be something that happens or doesn't happen only because of your involvement, right? You want to have some stake in the story, and I feel like any dungeon master would love to hear that. And the other thing that you can do, and this can be somewhat of a collaboration with the dungeon master, you can talk about your intention to do this, or it could be something that you spontaneously do. I think one of the best ways to get answers to some questions like that in the game context is to ask NPCs, right? Ask NPCs about the types of things that your character is curious about, the things that they want to learn about the world, the things that matter or don't matter. Sometimes a dungeon master will have a hard time, you know, at the meta level discussing the world in a way that it's a lot easier to do from the opinionated perspective of some character that's living in the world. The reason I give those two answers is because depending on where the problem exists, and I don't know enough about your table to say, it could be that it could be fixed in the world, which means your character can just become inquisitive and start, you know, driving their own plots forward and working with the party to say, hey, let's go talk to so-and-so. Remember that thing? Let's go investigate that in the next town over. Things like that. You know, the party has a lot of power there. But that's assuming that the world is giving that stuff back to you, right? If you're asking and getting interesting clues and bits of information and things that you can follow up on, and you're seeing the effects of your work on the world, then hey, that may be the avenue to go down. But you also can't fix problems above table on the table, right? So if it's really just a matter of maybe the game is designed or leaning into a different style of play, you know, forget fixing it in game, in character, in the world. Talk above table, talk to the group, talk to the DM, and, you know, try to suss out like, hey, is there any way that we can inject more of this type of game into our game? Because that's the stuff that I really like. And maybe it's a little bit of both, right? It's like, hey, I love being silly and I love this sort of you know, fun directions we can take and how we end up with a session where crazy stuff happened. Every game is going to fall into that from time to time. But you're like, hey, at the same time, I really want, you know, this character information to matter, or I want us to follow up this thread, like, you know, talking to the DM, talking to the whole party. I think I would imagine most would be like, yeah, no, you might have somebody else who's like, oh, I want that too, or like, hey, how about we try it this way? You know, one thing that I think is easy to miss, or that is easy to like when you watch actual plays, or when you watch people, especially Critical Role, Dimension 20, I don't know for a fact, but I would bet a lot on this idea that the players are talking a lot about the game and the nature of the game and the way the game feels outside of what you see on camera. Obviously, that's different because it's for entertainment purposes, but there's nothing at all wrong. You know, in a sense, the games that we play should feel a little bit like the best TV show. You know, it's like you've got a character that you're so invested in that's in the show, and you get to tune in every week or month or year, however often your group gets to actually meet and play. And so to be able to have that sort of like critical conversation outside of the game where it's like, yeah, I mean, it'd be great if there was a little bit more spy, like intrigue and mystery, or like, oh yeah, Sherlock Holmes stuff. That's what I want. Or like, I just more action and more dice rolling is what I'm looking for. Maybe somebody wants a little bit more character building or romance or role play. I think those conversations are worth having all the time. You know, turning the lens back on the game, and everybody at the table has a part in pushing that forward, assuming that everybody is in line with it, right? Back to those earlier ideas of that if that's the type of game that everybody wants to be a part of, then everybody could sort of collaborate on how to get there, right? Because I think players have probably more of an ability to change and affect the game from session to session, sometimes more than dungeon masters do, which is a little bit weird to think about. But players have, you know, in a good game where it's a collaborative thing, I mean, shoot, the players outnumber the dungeon master, right? So yeah, I don't know. That's some stuff that I would maybe give a try next time you talk to your group. And good luck. Hopefully it starts moving more in that direction that you're interested in. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, a little screwy in the diamonds there, but that's practice. Just another doodle on my way to 100 of these, and somewhere around number 100 is probably when I'll start to feel confident. Just trying to dig out. Please. Might just be a me thing. From what I know, none of the other party members have this issue. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Hope it helps. Eight and a 7. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the general's airship. Now all we need is a way to disappear. That's yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, because we get in the airship. The only thing that the plan doesn't really cover off on is how we make a giant airship the size of a building disappear on the horizon. Magic, maybe? Should we descend into the sea? I don't know. I have to think about that one. That's where you let the party get creative. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the mage's staff. Now all we need is the passphrase. Okay. Passphrase wouldn't be complicated normally, but the mage speaks all languages, even some that are made up. And so they pick a new one every time they lock up their workshop for the night. So finding out this passphrase. Well, we do know a dreamwalker. So perhaps if we could enter the mage's dream after they've locked up their staff. Oh. 2 and a 3. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the dragon's hoard right from under its nose. Now all we need is a big enough distraction. That's, yeah. How do we distract a dragon? And what horrible things will we do to just the region in order to do that? It's like, is it really worth it? How much gold is there? All right. The crew's long gone, but we have their plans. They were all set to steal the ancient books. Now all we need is someone on the inside. They're protected. The scholars, they won't just let anybody inside. But, you know, one of those old guys in there has a bit of a gambling habit. So if we can beat him at this illegal card game, maybe we can come up with a creative way for him to pay off his debts by way of ancient books. Nice. It's a good one. It's a good one. A nearly perfect plan. All right, let's do the other one. You said your short took off. You have to link it up in the stream chat and check it out. Congrats. It's always nice when that happens. Beautiful sea green for our watery doorway. Yeah, there's a stream chat in Discord specifically because we can't share links in YouTube chat. Cool data. I'll check it out. Thank you. I have made a lot of wood texture my years crafting. It's probably one of the most common. It's like basically wood and stone are the two textures that and the funny thing about it is the process of getting started, or like for me at least, my experience, I don't know about everybody's experience, but my experience, the process of getting started with either thing is that precision becomes like the thing, right? It's like, how do I make this exactly like this? Like, I'm so super careful, when really at the end of the day, the value is in the imperfections and the, you know, that's what makes it start to look actually more like real life, is when it doesn't. Hey, Axel. I am drawing out a door for over here. I'm going to be writing out the encounter tables that we came up with on stream a little bit ago. It's for a encounter or a game thing that we call the watery doorway. All right. See you, Crafted. Safe travels. Cool. Couple more D8s. The watery doorway. If we can find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter the bandits' hideout. But beware, the entrance is guarded by whatever the water reflects back. Now this feels like bandits who have gotten a hold of something dangerous. Because that's magic. That's some sort of magic enchantment. So maybe that is actually what they've been using for a lot of their banditry. I feel like it'd be some sort of like scepter, some sort of gemstone that allows them to cast these probably imperfect spells. If we can find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter the plane of water. But beware, the entrance is guarded by electric eels. I feel like the types of eels that would protect the plane of water, this would be like totally downplayed, right? It'd be like, oh yeah, we just got to deal with the electric eels. Like, oh, electric eels, okay, so yeah, that should be simple enough. We clear those out of the water, and it's like, you didn't say that the eels were this big and that they can talk. Yeah, you didn't mention that. If we can find one of these natural springs, that's how we enter the gates of hell. But beware, the entrance is guarded by a warrior statue. So it's like a cursed or fallen warrior. Ooh, maybe it's like the warrior could be like celestial or angelic. It's like protecting the gates of hell. Like maybe in order to be let through, you have to sort of prove that you have purposes that are not corrupting or that are honorable. If we can find one of these natural springs, that's how we enter the corrupted grove. But beware, the entrance is guarded by smearing ink. A tricky water fairy. If we can find one of those natural springs, that's how we enter the corrupted grove. But beware, the entrance is guarded by a tricky water fairy. Those fit almost too well. So a corrupted grove and the fairy outside. Maybe the fairy is responsible, or perhaps the fairy is the one. They're a bit corrupted as well, like they failed to protect the grove. And so this is what they do. This is how they sort of atone for their mistake. All right, do one more before I smear all of this ink all over the place. Gotta re-roll that one. Cool. If we can find one of these natural springs, that's how we enter the elemental lab. But beware, the entrance is guarded by the ever-shifting forest itself. So the elements at play here, or at least the way that the alchemists, the wizards, have protected the entrance to their lab is to basically sort of, it's almost like a maze that you have to find your way through. Like if you don't know how to get through, it's like the Lost Woods. If you don't know how to get through the Lost Woods, either by correct method or way of traversing it, there's no shot. You would never be able to. I like it. What do you think, Crane? quick little crane hello. Well, you've been so insistent. I assume you want to get on crane. All right. Cool. Job is done. Ugh. Okay. I am going to grab some lunch and then be right back on because I have a video project that I want to work on. Something new. And I have to work on it because the files take up so much room on my machine that I need to sort of use them or get rid of them. So I'll be right back shortly. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks Data. Crafted. Hope you travel well. And don't forget to check out the Encounters to Inspire. Appreciate the support, everybody. We'll see you in a bit. Down you go. I'm all hairy.